Good afternoon to all of you. I have come from an institute, Teri. It started off by J.R.D. Tata in 1974, and we have just completed 50 years of working in energy, environment, sustainable development issues, and climate change, etc. While we started moving on with a journey of, it all started with probably the first conference on environment in Stockholm in 1972, and Teri was established in 1974 by the Tatas. And since I joined the institute in 95, and I've been there, working there, and when the topics were asked that what I must speak, I thought that the youth should know about environment, the sustainable development, and one thing that affects all of us every day, and now it's even more. Every day we are feeling the change that is happening in the climate. So the rains are happening, the rains are not happening, the days are humid, there are extreme climatic events taking place all over the country, all over the world. We all are feeling that. Now, why this has happened? How many of you know this story? No? Yeah. So this is a story about, the blind persons, understanding, when they were asked to go and, feel the elephant, to understand their own perspective of, what the elephant is really. Somebody would tell that this is, a pillar, somebody who is near the legs, and somebody a tree, somebody a wall, somebody the ears a fan, a spear. So it is of different perspective that everybody has for a particular thing, but as a whole, it is an elephant. So we, in the field of environment, we have our own perspective. Everybody is working in different spheres in their own way, but we have to join together and have policies to work in this particular field. Now, when we go back to this word sustainable development, everybody is using the word sustainable. Everybody here and there, this is not sustainable. This is very sustainable, sustainability. So how does the word, come through? Although it was first, being noted in one of the reports that was published under the UN in the Brundtland Report of, 1987 by the ex-Prime Minister of Norway, who headed a 22-member committee that was formed by the UN. And very interestingly, our current Governing Council Chairman, Mr. Nitin Desai, he was the Chief Economic Advisor of this committee. So it is very interesting, Teri and this particular report, that is one of the very important reports that shaped this, world towards sustainable development and the sustainable way of doing things. But I want to remind you one thing, that sustainable development may have been finally framed, in terms of definition. But the indigenous knowledge, the traditional knowledge, we all knew it goes 100,000 years back, not 1,000, at least 100, 200 years back. We knew how to sustain ourselves. The indigenous knowledge, that is a perspective that we all know. The days that, they lived, they were very sustainable. But now, yes, it has been framed to a particular, definition by the World Commission of Environment and Development. But this was a report that was submitted by the Brundtland Committee. Sustainable development is that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. A very simple way to understand sustainable development. Now, if you see this is very simple, but two very important things that, are there in this sentence, which I felt should be, informed to you all. Something what Gandhiji said, the world has enough for our needs, but not enough for our greeds. So this truly comes up, in this particular sentence that, we have to have a sustainable way of, the way to consume our resources. And one more thing that is there, which is very important for our youth and the students, is a type of the concept is intergeneration equity. That basically tells about the generation that what we are leaving behind for our future generation. Whatever policy decision, whatever things are happening now, we have to think about our future generation. That is you all. All right? So basically you need to understand that the policy decisions that we are taking now affects the future of next 50, 200 years that will not be there, but you ought to be there to take care of it. So two very important things are engulfed in this particular sentence or the definition of sustainable development. And when we are also understand the word sustainability and sustainable development, what is the difference of both the words? While we talk about sustainability, we see the end result, what we are really looking for in the future. The environment, how we are going to have a very sustainable environment for the future. The resources are there for us. The climate has, we are able to maintain our, climatic goals. If you have heard of the different goals that we have set for the country in different agreements of COP, like India is going to achieve the net zero by 2070. So how are we going to contribute? And please remember, the climate is affecting everybody. And we really need to take care, and every action that we take at the local level actually contributes to our global effort of climate change. And the sustainable development is one of the most important, way to handle this. Although we all may argue that, development cannot be sustainable. But we have to see that we maintain a balance between both of these. So what are sustainable development goals? When this report was submitted, the Brundtland Report was submitted to the UN in 1987, the first Earth Summit took place in Rio, Brazil, and that was the first really significant, meet where all the countries met and decided for the future of the environment. But at the same time, just before I speak about the sustainable development goals, one thing should be clear, that sustainable development is not only about environment. It is about the social, the economic development. It includes everything. The three development factors: social, economical, and environment. Sustainable development has to be for all these three principles. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals, in 1992, it was first decided that the UN, they agreed upon Agenda 21. It was more focused for the environment part, the conservation part of the environment, when things were really changing, the poverty part of, the hunger part. This was a time that was Agenda 21, we say, because it was agenda for the 21st century, that it will be completed by, by 2000. And in 2000, when the UN met again, they fixed up another goal, the Millennium Development Goals. That has 8 very particular goals, specifically dealing with human. The first was on environment, and second was more on human, the poverty, the hunger, the inequality, the development of girl child, the diseases that, during that time there was the AIDS that had come out in a big way. So those kind of, the malaria, the communicable diseases. And so the Millennium Goals were up till 2000 to 2015. The UN thought that, the world will achieve this target of getting everything out of, no hunger, no poverty, and, there'll be no inequality, and, this kind of things would be achieved by 2015. But when they met again in, which we know as Rio 20 Plus, in 2012, then they decided, no, this is not working. We have to club both the Agenda 21 and the Millennium Development Goals to one, and we have to have the Sustainable Development Goals. Then it was decided that in 2015 September, all the members of UN, 193 states, decided that we will have the Sustainable Development Goals, which is also named as Agenda 2030, which has 17 goals with 169 targets, 230 indicators. And this covered the whole gambit of things that have been covered in Agenda 21 and in the Millennium Development Goals, dealing with health, poverty, disease, climate, land resources, everything that is involved with the word sustainable development. But it was based on three very important principles. As I've already told, the social, economic, and environment. The other principles are that it has 2-3 very important factors built to it. One is the universality of the sustainable development goals, that everybody has to be involved. And inclusiveness of the sustainable development goal. Nobody would be left behind. And the third is that nobody would be left behind. Everybody would be included for the sustainable development goals. And we are there in the journey now. The whole world is working to achieve what is there in the sustainable development goals. And we all need to understand, everybody here present today need to propagate that how we all can contribute towards this global effort of sustainable development goals, meeting in our own way. We have the civil society, the government, the financial institutions, they are all working towards contributing this. But there are challenges. Now, when I say about there are 17 sustainable development goals, it covers everything. No poverty, zero hunger, There are about 700 million people still under, in India we say it below poverty line, but they are still under poverty, severe poverty, and they are hungry. They don't have their daily requirement of nutrition. So what has to be done? So the next is zero hunger. Then about health. What kind of health, what kind of health facilities are available in different areas? Most of the health facilities are there in the urban areas. There are still to be covered in the rural areas. And about quality education. Are education been available to all, in all areas in this world? The gender equality, the clean water and sanitation. So there are, all 17 goals have been major goals that needs to be achieved by global society. And we really need to contribute in this. And when I am here in a school, I also need to, say that, what our institutions can do at our own level, research and development, conducting research on local challenges, and finding out sustainable solutions. Basically, to build awareness, you students can go back, educating your society, your community, going back home, and also the school creating their own innovation hubs, center of excellence, how we all can contribute, how our institution is contributing and creating awareness, how we have a particular division that is working only for youth and students, and how we can make our own school green, in terms of, achieving our sustainable development goals. I've just listed them. Improved in the school environment. You have water energy plan, efficient transport, having organic gardens in school, partnership with communities, and all these are there that we really need to see that our schools are doing in terms of, contributing to the effort of sustainable development goals. And how the youth can contribute, we know we require good health, we require quality education, we require clean water and sanitation, we want good jobs, we want good economic growth, we want innovation and infrastructure to be available to us for the future, and we want to have responsible consumption. Consumption is so important. We know how much we waste every day. Today I ate lunch. I know we wasted a lot of food in that. So this way, if you see the world over, it is like in trillions. I have the figure in my notes. It's about 1.some million kgs of those waste that is generated every day, just in terms of food, and everywhere we are wasting. So those kinds of things that we really need to do: responsible consumption and production. And how is India doing? India is definitely improving. The overall benchmark out of 100 is the best is for, I think, Finland and all this. It's about 85. India climbed that from 57, 66 to 71 now. And there are a lot of efforts being done in removal of poverty and the climate action that is taking place. We are far ahead in our, renewable energies target, far ahead from many countries. We are far ahead. We are a developing country. We need to develop. We have to have a balance in everything that we do. We have to develop, we have to balance, but we are far ahead in achieving our own NDCs, our own goals in terms of renewable energy. And we have our challenges in spite of, not about only India, globally we have challenges. Despite all our efforts, there are 100 million people still living in extreme poverty. Many regions don't have access to quality health services still. In India, we don't have. We don't have, millions of children lack quality education. Go to any of the big cities, you will see the slums. They don't have access to good, education. Girls and women, they continue to be, the inequality still exists. Maybe not in our society, but there is inequality all over the world, and it's still prevalent in India. And we know the environment challenges that happens every day with us and all of us. We need to make everybody aware that, we need to contribute from our own way. That is how we are going to save this world for our future generation, for you all that are here today. So the future outlook, sustaining our economic growth, enhancing social protection, adapting technologies and innovation, localizing our SDG implementation, and strengthening our governance system. So this is how you complete the elephant, all targets are there. It is one goal that we sustain our future for a better world for all of us today in terms of our, the way we live for the future. Thank you so much.